Hello, welcome. I thought it would be fun if today I took you behind the scenes for the making of a podcast episode. So for those of you who don't know, I have a podcast about sex education, sexuality, dating, relationships, self-love, all that fun stuff. I often have guests on for it, but for this episode that I'm bringing you along with, it is a solo episode. So obviously the behind the scenes will look a little different for a guest episode versus a solo episode, but a lot of it's still the same, and yeah, let's go. The first step is the idea. For a lot of the episodes, I have a note on my phone in my notes app where I have keep a list of ideas. It's my little idea bank. Whenever I think of a new idea, I'll just pop it in there. So usually when I have a guest on and we aren't sure what it is we want to talk about, I'll have a call with them, obviously before the episode, and I'll kind of list through all the topics and see what sticks with them, what they're excited about. Oftentimes we'll, in our discussion, come up with a new topic together, and that's always really fun. But for this episode in particular, the idea was inspired from the last episode I did, which was about what makes a healthy relationship. And on that, we focused on the importance of commitment. That was like part of the episode. But of course, my mind automatically went to, what about if you don't want to commit to that relationship? You know, like there are a lot of relationships that maybe you shouldn't commit to, especially like abusive relationships or toxic relationships. Or sometimes people just grow and realize that they need different things than what that relationship can provide. So I was kind of thinking about this question of how do you know whether to commit to a relationship or to let it go? And that's kind of the question that this episode focuses on. Step 2 is research. I was trying to focus on finding reliable sources from licensed therapists, licensed social workers, maybe a few research studies here and there. I tried it, not with every episode, but with a lot of episodes, I try to include at least a few studies or researchers and their work. And I also went to the podcast Instagram and asked listeners on there what their personal dating deal breakers were. So that was fun. So just kind of getting all the information together. And step 3 is to outline. Once all the information is collected, to sift through the notes and hone it into something more digestible with a flow to it, with some structure, with some organization. Obviously, you know, the podcast it's not super structured, you know, but to give it some sort of flow to make it make sense. Number 4 is to record. This is pretty self-explanatory. I get my little podcast mic and I record it into my computer on a voice note. Step 5 is to edit. So I will import the audio into Final Cut Pro, which is what I use to edit videos like this one. Hi, how's it going? I'll make some enhancements to the audio quality, and then I'll edit the audio and cut it up and cut out excessive ums, cut out excessive parts, pauses, make it cleaner. Then that leads to the next part, which is recording some more, because oftentimes listening back to it, I'll realize that there's things that I want to add or things that I want to clarify. And so I'll record some more parts just to make sure that I'm being clear on what I mean to say. And step 7, the final step, is to get it out there. So I'll export the episode from Final Cut Pro into a file and upload it into Anchor, which is now Spotify for podcasters. It's where I host the podcast, even though you can listen to it on any podcast platform, not just Spotify. But Spotify recently bought out the platform that was... Anyway, I upload it into Spotify for podcasters, Anchor, and then I'll come up with a title, a description, In the description, I'll make sure to include any resources, any studies or articles mentioned in the episode. Then I'll input any other information like whether it's an explicit episode, the episode number, stuff like that. And then I'll publish the episode, the most exciting part. And then I'll share it on the podcast Instagram so people on there know that it is out, what it's about, and that they can go listen to it if they want to. That is it for how the process works. Thanks for coming along with me. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about podcasting in general. I'd be more than happy to answer them. And yeah, as we'd say on the podcast, keep on buzzing.